Hey there and welcome back to The Sims 3. My name is Pete and today we complete another episode of this attempt to fully complete The Sims 3 World Adventures. Last time we left off, I know it's been a while, after a thorough tour through Chateau Landgraab, searching for both the keystone to the Dragon Cave as well as for clues about the origins of Nectar in Chateau Sims. And since those origins are indeed tied to this chateau, it is no surprise that we find a secret nectar cellar underneath the garden here, complete with a fully operational nectar-making machine. Speaking of nectar, William also has the wish to visit the Chateau Sims nectary. Let's quickly fulfill that before we use the Eyes of Horus to teleport once more, this time to the local adventuring board. We pick up a quest to deliver a bottle of great quality nectar to Carole, a sim that will actually play an important role later in this episode, and who is of course named after a channel supporter like all characters that appear in this series. Now, we've brought some nectar to Chateau Sims with Fabien for exactly this purpose. For some reason though, the ones with great quality don't actually meet the requirements of the quest, so we need to use one of our outstanding bottles. With that in hand, William meets Carole outside her home in the very early morning hours, turns over the nectar and finally reaches visa level 3, and with that William has now actually reached max visa level in all 3 travel destinations. That means, even though it is not the one he's actively pursuing at the moment, William has completed Seasoned Traveler, the first of 8 new lifetime wishes that were added in the World Adventures expansion. There is no time to rest though, more work needs to be done, once again nectar related of course, but this time we are sent to grab some ingredients instead of the final product, 5 pomegranates to be exact. Good thing Fabien planned ahead for this one too and brought some from his garden, so we can quickly give William what he needs while Fabien himself places another unique fruit combination in the nectar maker. How about 6 apples and 4 Renoir grapes? I think we haven't tried that one yet. William's quest giver, meanwhile, already awaits him, and following a generous reward of 1,200 simoleons, William actually returns to the home of Carole for a second visit. You'll see why in just a few moments. In the meantime, Fabien has started the nectar production and is now picking up a quest from the adventuring board himself, and what a coincidence, he too needs to deliver a great quality bottle to Carole now, although this is technically a different quest from the one that William just completed, so we're making sure not to repeat them. William and Carole, meanwhile, start building a bit of a relationship. Fabien is allowed to briefly interrupt to hand over the nectar though, before he then teleports back to the adventuring board and picks up yet another nectar delivery quest, and yes, Carole is once again the target. So, rinse and repeat, only this time we move the conversation into her home. With 2 fresh new bottles of nectar delivered, Carole can now turn back to William, who continues to give her compliments. Fabien, meanwhile, returns to the nectar cellar beneath Chateau Landgraab to grab his latest batch and to produce a new one, 1 flame fruit and 9 cherry molar bland grapes, another brand new combination. Back to our 2 elders then, and we can see William is in flirt mode, and Carole already finds him extremely irresistible. Unfortunately though, she rejects the attempt at a first kiss here, which gives William a mood penalty and shows that we still have more work to do with him. Speaking of romance, just a quick check-in then with Uni and Sanat. After becoming romantically involved in the last episode, the 2 of them spent the morning sparring, so nothing special to see here. For Fabien, it is back to the adventuring board, and yes, Chateau Sims has a lot of these nectar delivery quests. This one requires an excellent quality bottle, and for a change, the target is Starry Mailtag, so Carole and William can be left alone for a while. And we actually have such a bottle already. I parked it in Uni's inventory, though, to make sure we don't waste it on a quest with a lower quality requirement. And after a quick trip across town, we have completed yet another one of France's small side quest. Time for something bigger now. And this here is it. Nectar merchant Corentin Laurent needs a research assistant and will gladly apply. This is the final big quest line that we still have left to complete here in Champs les Sims. And thanks to the Eyes of Horus, it only takes Fabien a few seconds to bamf over to the nectary and to speak to Corentin, who reveals that the place is actually centuries old and has a secret cellar with bottles dating back thousands of years. We are specifically tasked with finding nectar older than 5,000 years to uncover more about the ancient beginnings of nectar making, so let's head downstairs. Most of the cellar is actually publicly accessible, as you can see, but there is a hidden door between the two nectar racks here that will get us into untouched territory. 2 piles of ancient coins and a bottle of nectar can then be scavenged. The bottle is only 78 years old though, so not what we're looking for. However, a second wall panel reveals another passage, and there is more nectar to be collected from the room beyond. Sadly though, once again, none of it meets the quest criteria, but the other treasures are pretty decent. Quick teleport back home, Sanat and Uni have moved on to meditation, and Fabien can grab yet another batch of nectar and try out a new combination of fruits, 4 Meloir and 6 Charamola Bland grapes. William and Carole, meanwhile, are back to flirting, and heavily, yet for some reason, Carole still remains hesitant about that first kiss. Well, we'll keep trying. For now, we switch back to Fabien, who returns to the nectary, where in the basement we can find 2 more nectar maker machines, and of course we'll load those up with new and exciting combinations as well, so that we're able to produce multiple batches of nectar simultaneously, which should also help Fabien complete his lifetime wish a little bit faster. A few hours later then, we return to the kitchen of the Villette household, and finally it happens. William gives Carole a little kiss, and she does not reject it. This now sets us up for why we've been going through all this trouble in the first place. For what comes next, however, we need to have Sanat join them. You see, now that they have kissed, they can also make out on the sofa, and that is exactly what we'll have them do, so that Sanat can take a picture. Admittedly, the 2 lovers are not exactly front and center for this one, but the game registers the get a room motif nonetheless, and with that we are now also completing Sanat's 5th photography collection and thus the Shutternut skill challenge. And this one is crucial, as it now unlocks the ability to take all future photos entirely for free, and we still have quite a few more left. Let's join Uni now, who has meditated for long enough to be able to Zeniport, and because she has also already completed the Master of Meditation skill challenge, she can now actually do this multiple times in a row. So, we have her teleport into the restricted section of the local museum. This not only fulfills a wish for her, and for Sanat too, who soon joins her, but also allows us to grab a few valuable relics and to search the sarcophagus here. Sanat seems to have some trouble pathfinding, not sure if this other one isn't meant to be accessed or if it's just a problem with him. Either way, I could not get Uni to open it either, so we'll have her teleport back out of the fenced-off area so that Sanat can use the Eyes of Horus to follow suit. Moving on then, we have the entire household gather in the nectary cellar. While Fabien repairs a nectar maker that broke earlier, Uni explores a glowing pink dive well for treasure, and Sanat and William can already scout ahead. They find a dead end, but it doesn't remain one for long. While the plaque on the wall tells us that the next cellar inspection is roughly 150 years overdue, the area still seems structurally sound, and after Sarnat opens another hidden door and earns some lifetime happiness points in the process, we can continue along another underground corridor. In the background, Fabien still fires up the nectar maker, while the rest of the crew looks around. Both Uni and Sarnat have spotted hidden doorways in the walls, and William can already grab a few nectar bottles from the treasure chests in the room ahead. Finally, Fabien joins the others, and from the room that Uni opened, he can grab an almost 3,500-year-old bottle of nectar, followed by some ancient coins and, very important, the tomb's unique sigil from a nearby chest. With the keystone from Corentin Laurent, we then open the locked door here, and that completes the tomb, earning a nice pile of lifetime happiness points and granting access to several more ancient bottles of nectar. Opening the marked chest in the middle of the chamber then also reveals another room beyond, somewhat Egyptian-looking, and not a place we need to investigate any further at this point. Instead, we can put up a tent for Uni and Sarnat to crawl into, while Fabien heads back to Corentin. On his way, he can grab his latest nectar products, and of course begin the production of the next few batches. The fruit combinations here are starting to get a bit more wild. The only goal at this point is to produce 15 different flavor combinations to complete the first nectar making skill challenge. Now Corentin sends Fabien straight back down into the secret room we just discovered after opening the chest. That will be a task for the next day though. For today everyone can go to sleep. Uni is up first, just a few hours later, and while we leave the holes in the wall here to Fabien, she can already open up a shortcut back out into the Nectary's public cellar area, and also reveal one more hidden doorway, although what we find beyond is just another locked door that requires a unique keystone that we do not yet have. Same story for the door on the other end of the room, by the way. So how about we grab a little quest with Uni instead? While she has one for China already active, we can pick up another one here, and this is the one I had been hoping for, a nice jog around town in exchange for money. Since we eventually want Uni's athletic skill to reach level 10 anyway, this fits nicely into our plans, and it doesn't take too long until we are ready to report back in, to none other than Carole Villette, who really seems to have it out for us today. 500 simoleons, and that is officially the third to last quest in Jean Les Sims completed. Apart from the one that Fabien already has active, the one that William now picks up is the second to last one. We need to go around town and convince 3 Sims to visit the relic merchant Federico Spadone. Well, and that brings us straight back to Carole, because a good relationship makes William much more persuasive, so in quick succession we first convince Carole and then her daughter Valley. As William then searches for target number 3, Fabien enters the nectary cellar once more, passing by Sarnat and Uni, who have begun another lengthy round of sparring to investigate 3 holes in the wall. The first 2 are empty, but the third contains a hidden switch, and suddenly a whispering voice can be heard, mentioning the 3 greatest possessions of the pharaohs, glimmering and sparkling with the radiance of life, but stolen and never returned. Well, let's head back to Corentin to tell him of this discovery, while William convinces special merchant Paroline Aberou to be the third shop visitor, and Paroline is also who Fabien will need to speak to in just a moment, as she has apparently been looking into the local history and might be able to solve our riddle. And she pieces together that we might need to acquire some gemstones and points us to a friend in Al-Samhara, Egypt. Since this friend also collects bugs, Paroline advises us to catch a few ceramics beetles as a gift, so to say, and since those can be found right here in France, we'll get right on that. William, meanwhile, reports back to relic merchant Federico and receives 600 simoleons for his efforts, and he can now go bug collecting for Fabien. He doesn't have anything better to do anyway, while Fabien himself needs to spend all of his time making more nectar. We will also quickly have the household's youngest head back to Chateau Landgraab, where another batch is waiting in the secret nectar cellar, but we won't make another one here. For the rest of our operation, the nectary will suffice. Only a few hours later then, William has already caught 4 of the 5 required beetles, and with no further ones currently on the map, he can now grab the last quest still missing from our Completionist collection. This one's easy. We only need to go to Egypt and convince one of the locals to let the, currently still anonymous, quest giver stay with them for free. Since we cannot do anything to complete that task just in this moment, and again, since all ceramics beetles on the map have already been caught, we might as well send William fishing next. I think it would be neat to catch 10 of each of the World Adventures fish to stock an exclusive pond back home. Fabien's nectar-making operation, meanwhile, is no longer restricted to the 2 machines in the nectary cellar. There's 2 more upstairs here that we will now also occupy to really scale up production. Just in that moment, a new ceramics beetle spawns on the map, and we have Uni quickly xenoport over to catch it. If she succeeds, that's all 5 now in our possession. And there we go. We can now transfer all 5 beetles to Fabien's inventory, and with that we are ready to continue the quest in Al-Samhara. However, I think we'll stay here in Shaun Les Sims for at least one more episode after this one. Even though we are in the process of wrapping up all remaining quests, there are actually quite a few unmarked tombs still left to explore that are not part of any quest line, and true completion of course demands that we fully explore them all. In the evening then, during another repair attempt, Fabien gets badly singed. Nonetheless, he has just produced his 100th bottle of nectar and his 15th unique flavor combination, earning him plenty of lifetime happiness points and the title of Mixmaster. This first of 4 nectar-making skill challenges is now done. The other 3 should hopefully follow soon. Upstairs, meanwhile, in the Nectary's guest quarters, Uni and Sanat have gotten comfortable after a day of sparring and meditating. Our singed nectar prodigy actually goes upstairs a short while later too, to run himself a nice bath. Squeaky clean, Fabien can then try to repair the broken nectar machine again a short while later, and this time he succeeds. Time to kickstart production one last time for today before heading off to bed. And finally, shortly after 3 AM in the morning, William has run out of frog bait and can now teleport himself back home too. And I think with all but 2 quests completed in Shaun Les Sims, our first lifetime wish taken care of too, and 2 skill challenges ticked off as well, we have reached a good point to make the cut for today. Next time we will then explore a few more tombs, maybe purchase a vacation home as well, and then France will be more or less completed apart from the rest of Fabien's Nectar quest line. As always, I hope you join me for that, and I also hope that you enjoyed today's episode, and if you did, then I would be very happy if you could leave a thumbs up. If you like what I'm doing and want to support me and my channel further, then you can of course go ahead and subscribe to stay up to date, grab some merch over on shop.petecomplete.com, or become a channel member or Patreon supporter. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.